if there is even a little bit of fraud anywhere detected, they're all null and void. And just, everybody keep your house. You just don't have to pay anymore.
Well, what I think Justice Scalia was saying, if there is fraud in these documents, clearly which there is, you have a right to rescind the loan. But see, we don't know who to rescind it to. Because if you go back to the deed of trust, it's a single signatory contract that was done outside of the courts. The only person's name on these contracts, in my case, it's me. If it was a contract is between two parties. Where's the second contract in the game? There isn't. So it means that this deed of trust contract is not consummated, which is why Justice Scalia says the statute of limitation, it starts. Once it's consummated, who did you borrow the money from? Well, we don't know. Well, then you know what? Why am I paying someone who I don't even know, who wasn't sitting at the table, and I didn't receive a loan? Why am I giving this person money?
Right.
So you have a right to rescind that, which is what I did. They had 20 days from the date I dropped that in the mail and said, I don't want to be a part of this. I don't know what you're doing, but good luck to you. No one in 20 days brought me to court. But they're scrapping and they're trying to piecemeal things together to
make it appear they've got something.
Yes, they don't.
They don't have anything.
I have.
And we went to a auction.
Auction.
Yes. The one gal, she gave us her #1 concept of how she thought about us, and we've got it on tape.
She's amazing. She actually shows up to a lot of the auctions in Orange County with a few other folks. And so now we've actually witnessed these insider tradings. That's all they are. Because if you go back and you look at the actual deed, notice of trustee sale, it tells you inside the notice to potential bidders. They're telling you right there, it's a derivative because there may, they use words like may, M-A-Y, be other deeds out there. Well, what they're saying is there are other wild deeds. Maybe this company may go away, now another one's going to sprout up because they keep transferring it. That's what makes it a derivative. The derivative, people were always confused. What's a derivative? Derivative is a parent company, which is what our good old big company's doing here, who's created all these shell corporations, a subsidiary of the parent, and then the subsidiary will birth new companies under them, and it just keeps getting convoluted. It's a shell game, and the new births makes it a derivative. It's offspring. That's all it is, of the parent.
Are you going to send a bill for your time in unraveling all this fraud? Are you going to send a bill to Wells Fargo or one of the parent companies and say, now, since I am learned in the law and have discovered your notary fraud and all this, and I did all this investigating, I'm charging you, $1,000 a day for my investigative services, and I'm charging you, $3,000 an hour for my legal expertise, and please send me X amount of money. Because it seems only fair when they win, they want to charge you for every little thing they claim they did.
I think for the amount of the fraud that has taken place in this case, I think it would be fair to times 3 or times 10, including a size 12 Nike on their backside for doing that. They need to be prosecuted, and they need to go and sit in a think tank for a while so that they can understand that this is unacceptable. This type of paperwork destroys families, destroys our economy.
Destroys your life.
It destroys your life. This is not the way that housing was intended to be conducted. This is
crazy. Not your local lender who's down the street and he's holding your loan down the street and you can go pay him off anytime you want to. He has long since gone out of business or lost track of this whole thing.
Well,
And now we're dealing with scam artists who are scamming us, and it's a really good white-collar crime, isn't it?
It's really a profitable white-collar crime that, shockingly enough, our authorities, some of them, are turning their back on. You walk in with your paperwork, they don't even want to take the time to sit down and talk to you about, filing a complaint, doing an investigation. They're claiming there's not enough man hours, there's not enough grant money. I bet to differ.
Camilla Harris was confronted by the California 18, and she just flat out said, I don't see a crime here.
Like I said, I try to give everybody the benefit of the doubt and hope that, they're really upholding their office and they're doing the best they can while they're seated there in that position. And I hope that, she may take the time to look into this and see that this is just a plain grand theft. This wasn't a loan. This isn't money that was given to me. There may be other cases out there identically like this.
I'm sure there are.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're right. I'm sure there's other cases, probably by the hundreds of thousands identical. So the question to you is, this is a mess. I mean, our county records are a mess. I don't think anybody would have enough time to clean up the county records now in all the counties. So here's my question to you, Cindy. Wouldn't it the appropriate thing to do, saying that there isn't enough money to clean up all this mess, is just have Congress pass an act saying, everybody in your home, you now have it free and clear. If any of these companies, now if you got a personal loan from your father or your uncle and he's waiting for you to pay him back, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about these big corporations going in business, out of business, creating another one, flim-flamming, and nothing done properly. Wouldn't it be better for Congress to say, if you had any of these Wells Fargo's, American Servicing, this Servicing, New Century, whatever, your home loan is declared null and void by act of Congress. You just stay in your home. We're going to issue all brand new, free, clear titles. And while they're at it, why don't they give you a free title, clear, absolute, exempt even from property taxes for 5 years, for all the mess the homeowners have had to suffer, even the ones that are still yet to be victimized and don't even know they're in the same situation as Cindy Brown. Wouldn't that be a good thing for Congress to do?
I don't know. I think it's kind of slippery. It's a slippery area to say to get a free home, because I know there was a principal balance on this home and money is due and owed to someone. Everyone at the time when they had that, non-stated and what have you, and folks who knew that they shouldn't have gotten a loan or couldn't afford a home, it made it difficult for people who had homes for 20 years, 10 years. So I don't want to say, yeah, they should get a free home, because they may have only been a 1 or 2 year homeowner, and then all of a sudden they just fall into an opportunity of getting a free home.
Would even that be a bad thing, however, if they got a free home? Maybe they only made payments for 10 months, and then they end up with a free home. That's one less homeless person on the street, one less homeless family. And otherwise, you're going to end up with Congress appropriating money to put them in some social welfare housing thing that HUD creates, and we know those turn into slums.
I think there's a way to come to the table and talk about who's going to get what. I think they need to be separated. Each case is very, very different. So you can't across the board say, oh, everyone's going to get a free home. I think if you take each case and you look at it and you say, okay, this person has been in their home over 20 years, something definitely went wrong. This home sat on equity. Let's take a look. Let's break it down. And what's missing through all this is you're missing a group or a department that can actually analyze and go through this material, okay? Someone who knows what they're looking for, what it means, and you can actually kind of draft up something and say, okay, this person had a lot in that property, and we're not going to just give them the debt collector, the equity, and the property. That's just one-sided. You know, we already know the contract is unconscionable. They need to be prosecuted, and they need to go and sit in a think tank for a while so that they can understand that this is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable.
I'm sure you're right.
This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable.